Hi everybody, I'm here to talk to you tonight about explosive anger. Anger which is explosive. Comes out of nowhere. It's hideous. It destroys you, it destroys everything around you, everyone around you, every relationship you've got, everything, really. Explosive anger is one of the worst things that people with BPD do. We're volatile. All the time. Is he going to explode? Is this the thing that sets him off? And it could be anything. It could be anything. Usually, it's things not going our way. It's that problem in the supermarket queue. It's somebody stood having a chat with the person at the checkout instead of paying for their stuff and leaving. That's the kind of thing. For me, that's where it starts to come from, and you have to have a lot of patience and a lot of serenity inside. It's very difficult sometimes. I've had a day out shopping. That's a bit much. I went to Asda. And throughout the whole pandemic thing that's been going on, that has been such a major trigger point for me. Not what's happening to me, but how other people are behaving. And it is that classic trope of you can't control what other people do. You can only control how you react to it. And unfortunately, until the fairly recent past of my life, I was responding to it with explosive anger. And it wasn't just that. It came out of everything, every little disappointing thing. And it's a projection. It's a build-up. It's a release. It's, I don't know, but it feels good. It genuinely feels good. That's why you get caught up in it. That's why I get caught up in it. It feels good. You feel something. And for that reason alone, it's good. And you feel a lot of it. And it comes on like some sort of rush. And it's quite drug-like. And it's very, very difficult to put it down. The number of times I've been in arguments where I realize the only reason I'm still shouting is because I feel like I need to. And the problem is that anger is never warranted. I mean, not even from a sort of, it's never good to get angry. You've always lost the argument if you get angry. I don't know about that, but I'm saying that this level of anger is never good, right? It's one thing to be passionate about something and get angry in that, that motivational sense, but explosive anger that comes out of nowhere, that puts a hole in your living room wall or a dent in a side panel of your car because you've punched it like an arsehole. It just comes from nowhere. Like I say, usually because things don't go our way. Usually because your food orders come the way you didn't want it. Or there's someone holding you up, or they're standing too close to you, or that procedure isn't being done the way you'd do it. For me, this ties in very heavily with a lot of MPD stuff. This is one of the situations where the two egg each other on. I have these arrogant, haughty attitudes and feeling of superiority, and then that gets me riled up, and then out comes the explosive anger. It's a horrible combination. And I'd like to say I'm totally over it. I really would. I am much further down the road than I was a year ago, certainly than I was 2 years ago, when that was probably about as bad as it gets. And seriously, I'm talking serious shit. There comes a point where you realize if I carry on like this, somebody bigger than me is going to put me on my ass, and I'm going to have to say I deserved it. You've just got to try and be calm. I mean, there are so many ways you can look at to be calm. that goes beyond sort of a general medical therapy thing and into God, how many things are there about calming yourself? But it's not always easy to do in the heat of the moment. You're not just building up its explosive anger. It comes from nowhere and you're suddenly in it. And you're so justified and feel correct in what you're doing. It's very difficult to get a hold of it there. And I don't know what advice to give anybody to do that, because I don't know that I've 100% managed it yet. I've gotten somewhere. I'm not as quick to anger now as I used to be. And when I do get angry, I don't get as angry or for as long. But it's still there. It's still something that I'm living with, that I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis. It's still a fear every time I go out into the world. And it is for the people that go out into the world with me. Is he going to blow up? Are we going to be on the news? It must be horrible. It is horrible to be around. I've been on both ends of it, and it destroys you. And of all the things I've done as a result of this, that's up there with the stuff I regret the most. Because that's the time I've been the most horrible and the most frightening and the most abusive and the most everything. It's really difficult to get over. Which will lead us on to our next video, which is going to be about forgiveness and letting yourself move on. It's a bit long for this one. We'll come back to it. But that's the explosive anger. It is what it sounds like. It is as simple as it sounds. But it comes from within and it's not at whatever it's projected at. It's self-pain. It's crying out. But it comes out in the form of anger. I think the key to stopping it is stopping the things that we're angry about ourselves, about our lives, the things we don't like. Why are we crying out in pain? Because that's what it is. It's crying out in pain. But the weird thing with mental health is you can't just cry out in pain. It's not like there's something sticking out of your arm or something like that. You're not obviously in pain. It's very difficult. If you have any tips for dealing with that, I'd love to hear them. Honestly, I'm not sat here as some sort of authority on this. I'm just struggling through it like everybody else is. And I have good days and bad days. But hopefully the good days are more frequent now. And hopefully for you too. You can do it. We can do it. Stay positive. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.